Really is all about the transfer, folks. It really is. Really is. Come on in. Come on in. Absolutely. I want to show you something. I want to show you something very, very important here. Very, very, very important here. And it's going to be how to transfer your way out of debt. That's what we need. How to transfer your way out of debt. It is good to see you as well, Tony. Absolutely. And Spunky, how do you transfer your way out of debt? How do you transfer your way out of debt? That's a good question, isn't it? Now, right when I said that, somebody said, what is he talking about? And that's sad, isn't it? It's sad that we don't know what transferring our way out of debt means when others have known for years. It's, I tell you, man, if you don't want to think about it too long, okay, you don't want to think about it too long, but we want to show you what we mean when we say, you are so welcome. When we say transferring out of debt, okay, we want to share with you what we mean. All right, here we go. I want you to see what I see, okay? Because I believe that the first steps to a proper education, okay, is to do what you see the teacher do. Some people call it modeling. And I know a lot of you don't need this. You're business owners, you're investors. I'm talking to the people who kind of don't know. They have the means, they have the resources, but they do not know how to accurately allocate these resources. And so we want to just suggest to you, right? We're just putting it in, submitting this for your consideration. Okay. So this is what we mean. We're going to go ahead and share our screen right now. We want to get the right one. And I want you to go ahead and see that. Okay, it says you can see my screen right now. I want to go ahead and share with you from the beginning what we've been doing. Okay. So that people can know what we mean by let's transfer ourselves out of debt instead of in debt. So let's do this. You see that we have all these different scenarios, okay? So whether you want to connect your account to your bank account or whether you're like, you know what, let me go ahead and just separate it, but I do want to just use my checking and savings account, you can do that. Do you want another way to do this checking and savings method? That's method two here. And you have the demo 1 year. We also have John and Rebecca Jones. And that demo 1 year, what that means is, hey, you just want to see what's going on, where you would be in 1 year. Okay. John and Rebecca Jones, we got that classic, we got the new ones. We also have, if you have multiple funding accounts, so you've got a line of credit, a home equity line of credit, a credit card. You also have, a checking account. You also have this type of account. All these different accounts, we can actually make sure that goes to good use if we choose multiple funding accounts. You got multiple properties, no problem. We'll make sure that that cash flow is used at the optimal amount in those multiple properties. And of course, we got the template and that start demo 1 year. What we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and just do the checking and savings method two. We're just going to reset the whole system to that. And we're going to give you some scenarios here. Now, there was someone who said, CJ, I want you to put my numbers inside of this system. Now, at the time, I was like, man, wait a minute, if I share with this person these numbers and how like how efficient this system is going to be, man, what about the proprietary measures? Hey, I have to be transparent with you. I was concerned about the proprietary, right? Okay. I really was. I really was. I found out once a person shares that they are committed and that they are serious, you better believe I'm putting their numbers through here. Why? Because people need help. It's one thing to have a fire hose, and it's another thing to know how to use that fire hose. The same can be said. The same can be said about what? Money. It's one thing to have money, right? Look, these people have money. Do they know how to use the money? Let's go ahead and go to their account right now. Let's see how much they have right now. So they do have $5,538 in the bank in their savings account. And they also have in their checking account $950. But look at this. What are your thoughts on that? Look at the liabilities that they have. $232,900. Okay, that includes the auto loan, their MasterCard, the signature loan, and of course the first mortgage. Okay, do we see that? Now what we want to do is we want to look at their budget. Okay, we're going to look at their budget. Look at how much they're bringing in. 5444. How much are you bringing in? How much are you bringing in? And just keep that number there. Keep that number right there, right? You definitely don't have to share it, okay? But look at this. Look at the number they're bringing in. Then, probably more importantly, it all depends, doesn't it? Look at how much is being spent each month. Total monthly expenses, it's $5,117.83. Look at their average expense budget. So the average expense budget is actually much lower than their total monthly expenses. Sometimes reality is different, right, than our plans. But look at that. So this is the real numbers. These are real numbers. 5444, 5117.83. That's going to leave them with a discretionary income or cash flow of $326.17. Okay. And of course, you can see what they're spending it on: food and dining, bills and utilities, phone, K-Star gas, and of course, their monthly payments here. All right. What does your budget look like? What does your money allocation plan look like? Do you have more or less than this average discretionary amount? Do you have more or less cash flow? Okay. So let's go ahead and just give you a 30,000-foot view of what we're looking at here. We're looking at all of these accounts, all of these debts, okay, over $232,000. We're looking at it gone in 11.8 years. And we, by the way, have a payoff date of February 2nd, 2036. What value does that have for you, knowing that if you go by the plan, the action plan, the coordinated action plan, you'll be out of all of this debt without a second job, without having to decrease your expenses. You'll be out of all of it by 2036, making just over $5,000 each month. Does that provide you with any value? Yeah, don't they have a 30-year mortgage? They do. They do have a 30-year mortgage, but it's not going to take them 30 years. As you see, it's not taking them 30 years. Does that make sense? Questions. I know you got some. I know you have some questions after that one. Do you have the questions? CJ, why are you frozen? Yeah, sometimes it does that, doesn't it? Don't worry about it. Where are your questions at? Where are those questions at? Hmm. Because you see, when you have a system, folks, this is the bottom line. And we've been talking about this since I don't know when. When you have a system, you and I both know, especially my business owners, you and I both know that things, projects get more simple with a system. Now, I want to let you know something here, okay? Let's draw this. Let's draw this out. I want you to draw this out. Come on back to me for just a moment. For just a moment, because I feel you're going to get value of this. You're going to get value out of this. Watch this. Solar system, cardiovascular system, respiratory system, integumentary system. That's the skin. Okay, has a whole system. Skeletal system, muscular system, ecosystem. Do I need to go on and on? There's a reason why they're all called systems. Let's go back. Let's go back. Okay. There's a reason why they're all called systems. Because there are factors within each that need to start working together. When the system works optimally, everyone's happy, right? The body's happy, the ecosystem's happy. Okay. When these things are out of order, right, it's not as happy as it could be. We need a system. Business owners, investors, mortgage lenders, realtors, you need a system. Are you just a realtor or are you a velociraptor like Trish? Are you a velociraptor, Rick? Are you a velociraptor, Melissa? Okay, Melinda. Are you a velociraptor? Are you a velocilender? What's a velocilender? All a velocilender, a velociraptor, all they are people that can take $1 and make it do the work of 1,000. Making sure that you have the optimal cash flow within your own portfolio, within your own account. A system. And so this is how we're transferring people out of debt. Look at this. They're placing their numbers inside and it's popping out with the answer. Wouldn't you love it if you gave someone a problem and they had the answer? Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that why we use computers? So look at this. We have John, $1,462 coming in. $1,462 coming in. What are we going to do with that? Okay, and of course, we have some money in the bank. Well, the system tells us what we're going to do with it at a certain date. Okay, April 2nd, let's say, right? It's going to the first mortgage. You've got money in the bank. The system knows that. I said the system knows that, and it's going to put that $1,520.10 towards the mortgage. Okay, that's what it's telling you to do. It doesn't have access to any of your accounts. It's just telling you if you want to get out of debt in under 12 years, this is what you'll do. Okay, this is what you'll do. MasterCard, you want to get out from under your MasterCard? From the savings to the MasterCard, $1,241.14. Now, of course, we can give you a debt elimination plan, a velocity banking plan. If you go it's actually pinned up there, enroll in the class right now. We'll go ahead and give you your debt elimination plan as well as your own numbers within the system for 3 months as well, so that you could see, right, where you need to place your money, okay, in order to get out in way under the 30 years. Now, for this person, it's 11.8. Do you know why that is? Well, let's look at this. Let's look at it. Why is that? 11.8 years. Look at this cash flow right here. The cash flow is $326.17. Okay. So with the $326.17, we're able to get this person out from under a mortgage and everything else in less than 12 years. Why? Because we have an action plan. Look at the transfers that are happening. These people are literally transferring their way out of debt. That's what we mean by it. Look at this 3-month action plan. Boom. And then what's next? What's next? Once you're done with the next month, we're not about confusing anybody. Then the other month will pop up. Yeah, well, CJ, I mean, life isn't static. Neither is the system. Neither is any effective system. See the ones we just went over. It's not static at all. It's dynamic. It'll change with you, right? So let's go ahead and let's say, listen, let's take out these expenses. Okay. Let's take out these expenses. What do we do? What do we do with these expenses? I mean, I'm not taking out the food expense. I love eating, we got to pay the bills. I mean, these are necessities here. Everything else, though, everything else. All right. Well, let's see what happens, right? If we spend a little less, okay, maybe $1,000 less. Let's just see, guys. Let's just see. Okay, we're gonna save. Wait just a minute. So if I decided to spend $1,000 less each month, and now my total monthly expenses is only $4,117 instead of $5,000. Now I've got cash flow of over $1,300. And oh, by the way, the years, 3 years less? Now I'm paying off the house, the car, the cards in 7.3 years versus 11.8 years. Do you remember when we told you about the cash flow? Remember what we told you about the cash flow? The bigger the cash flow, the faster that debt pay down is. Okay. Now let's just say, you know what? I want to be I want to have strong discipline. And I'm going to cut my expenses down. No more driving up to Scottsdale, Flagstaff. No more driving up to Charlotte, to Atlanta, LA. No more of this. I want to reduce this even to $500. Let's see what happens now. What happens now. Goodness gracious. Now we got 5.8 years. Would you be able to stand $1,961, $1,961 for 5.8 years? Would you be able to stand that $500 only expenses? And our average expense budget, of course, is $1,215 because we're adding in the food and dining and the bills and utilities. But could we stand that for just 5.8 years? Then we can go back to where we were at because we'll have even more cash flow. Look at how much interest you'll save. $199,502. And now, 2030, that's the year, isn't it? 2030. How about that for Agenda 2030? How many of you are excited about Agenda 2030? Let's make this your Agenda 2030. You'll be out in 5.8 years. You say, well, CJ, I'm a realist, so I'm just going to go ahead and go back to the 2000 where we were at because I like spending, and I don't want to. Okay, that's good. 10.9 years. That's still not bad. And look how much you're saving, 158,000, right? Are we missing anything here? Are we missing anything? Only our debts, right? Our debts will be missing in 10.9 years. Okay. So let's go back here. I want you to take a look. I want you to take a look at these numbers here. Okay. Take a good look at them. Remember the signature loan was 139.65. Let's look at the MasterCard 1241. Let's look at the savings account 461. Let's look at the auto loan 466 and the MasterCard. All right. I want you to look at these 3 months. Then I'm going to see something. Let's go back to the budget. Okay. And we're going to put in the 500 again. And this time I want you to see the difference. I want you to see the difference in the action plan. You see that? Was that there before? The $1,961.17 on the 15th from checking to savings. Okay. Now we know the auto loan and the MasterCard were the same. Look at that signature loan, 139.65. We know the mortgage has to stay the same. Man, you aren't going to be changing that. But as you'll notice, the account has changed, even if slightly. Why? Because you're no longer spending that $2,000 a month. So now it's going to be using that money that you're not spending towards paying off. It understands that money is a weapon, okay? We need to understand that money is a weapon, and it can work for you or it can work against you, right? Beautiful. So that is what's going on. That is actually the money max account system. We want to make sure that you are getting the most out of your dollars. It's about what you want to do with the system, not us. Okay. These are your dollars. And of course, if you cannot wait to get a Velocity banking plan, we have the message pinned up there. We'll also have it in the description link below. But this is what we're talking about when we talk about coordinated action plan. You've got your bank accounts here, right? Now yours may say zero. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and add that in. Both of these may say zero, and you may be going from paycheck to paycheck. Guess what? That's okay. Because I'm going to go ahead and zero this one out. Okay. Boom. I'm going to go ahead and zero this one out. What if we don't have 5,000? Okay, let's get that current balance up. Here we go. There we go. So we have zero. Now, it did add a couple months on there. I did see the 5.8 turn to 6. But even with zero in the bank account, right, we still have money that can move. Now, those transfer arrows are red because it's trying to avoid that overdraft. Absolutely. When you tell the system, listen, I need to be aware of overdraft fees, it's not going to forget. It'll let you know, hey, you need to transfer this on the 2nd, okay, of the month. Look at that. So we have the date, right? And then we have the amount. What does that mean? Remember what we always say? That it's not just about the interest rates. It's about the time. There's the date. And the balance. There's the amount. And as we're taking these amounts and we're transferring them to these different loans and to these different accounts, what's happening to the principal on the loans? What's happening to the principal on the lines of credit? It's getting decreased. And we know the dates. Somebody write that in there. We know the dates so that you don't get charged that interest for that day. Why? Because you paid this amount on this date, and you can no longer charge me that amount on this date going forward. It's going to be less and less and less. So as you see the transfer, these are suggested strategic accumulation transfers. Okay. And it changes as you do. Okay. Case in point, 15th of April, stay right there. Okay. This may or may not change, but we're going to increase our budget back to 2000. So let's go here. We're going to place it back at 2000. We're going to save it. Then we're going to go to our action plan. Okay. 415. Where's 415 at? So on 415, do you remember that number that we saw? It's no longer there. The priority has changed. That's why. That's why. Look at how long you're going to be in this debt. 11.4 years, right? Why? Why is that? Because you have $461.17 as cash flow, and that cash flow is working for you. Okay. And we're knowing how to decrease or eliminate the principal on that loan. And as we shrink that principal, what else shrinks? The interest on that principal, because the interest is the parasite. Remember, the principal is the host. So the interest feeds on that host, feeds on that principal. So we had to make sure, okay, well, there's $2,000 in expenses now, so we're going to have to move that money over here. We don't have the money that we had, so now we're going to move the money over here. And these suggested transfers, right? Maybe you'll have less, because remember, it was up in the thousands, 1,400 something. Now we're transferring from checking and savings $402.34. That's okay. This is the most efficient way to pay off your debts when you're making $5,000, let's go back to the income, $5,444 each month. When you have close to $5,000 in expenses, how are we going to move this money around? Like this. So say goodbye to 30-year mortgages. So lenders, I know you're watching. Thank you so much for watching. I want to know, that's right. That's what I'm talking about. We want to know the dates. Jesus, we want to know the dates. We know the dates. That's right. I like what you said. We know the dates. So mortgage lenders, I was gonna ask you a question, and that is this: How important is it that your clients see you as more than a lender? What if you were to help them to get out of that debt you put them in? What if you were to say, yes, you know what, I just sold you a 30-year mortgage, but it doesn't have to take 30 years. I just sold you a 30-year, a 40-year. If they come out with a 50-year mortgage, it doesn't matter. What if I told you you could be out of that? Because you know their income and their expenses and their debts. What if I told you you could be out of that in about 11.4 years? Would that add any value to you? Would that be something you would want to pursue? And what are they going to say? The question is, what can they say? Of course, they're going to say, man, let me see. And all you got to do is let me know if you're not comfortable with explaining it. Okay. Let me know. We'll set up an appointment with them and we'll show them. They'll get enrolled in the class. They'll get their own debt elimination plan that's right there on the chat. Go ahead and click that. okay, if you'd like, and we'll show them how to get out. This is a system that has worked. We're talking about over $2.5 billion eliminated. And that's why we like the saying, we are interest cancellation specialists, because we know how to get rid of the interest. Right here is how you get rid of the interest. You're seeing it. That's how it's done. The answer to your question, right, is this is how it's done. We have the plan. We have the plan. Lenders, how much more could you help people? Or do you want to be just like everyone else? My goodness, I don't think you were put here to be like everyone else. This is just my personal opinion. Take it for what it's worth. That and $10.50 will get you a small espresso in a crowded Starbucks. Okay. Shout out to Starbucks. We're not talking about anybody. All right. We just want to help eliminate your debt. The business owners, what value would this have on your business if you know how to move your money a little better? If you wanted to do the cash flow, if you wanted to increase in cash flow, right? 461, you're looking at it, right? You're looking at your cash flow management system and you're wondering, well, we got the auto loan, we got the MasterCard, perhaps you have another mortgage, right? How can we move our money around? No more thinking about that, guys. You don't have to think about that anymore. You know why? You've got this. So now you can think about something else. Now you can think about moving your business forward. Now you can think about that client that you wanted to talk to that was interested in a fund that you had. Okay. Now you can get into these investment portfolios. Now you can get into those assets you were talking about. Now you've heard me talk about how assets can actually pay for your boat, pay for the liabilities, pay for. That's where it's at, not necessarily this. This is just getting you out, right? But what happens when you're out? Then the fun begins. That's what happens when you're out, okay? That's when the freedom begins. Because when you've dug yourself out of a hole, you're still at ground level. Now you need to continue to take out loans. Oh, man, okay. Listen, this is what loans are used for, right? And lines. This is how you use loans and lines. I wrote it down. Loans and lines are to be used for assets. If you want to get a pair of Yeezys, that's fine. If you want to get a pair of J's, that's fine too. You want to get a new phone? Great. You got to get some shoes, right? Jimmy Choo's, right? I choose Jimmy Choo. That's fine, as long as the assets are paying for it. What are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on that? As long as the assets are paying for it. Shout out to Robert Kiyosaki. Shout out to Garrett Gunderson. Okay. Dale Carter, right? All of these people. Nicole, very instrumental in helping us to remember what velocity means. Okay. Anytime you mention velocity, you're thinking of acceleration. It does. It accelerates you out of debt. It accelerates you into wealth, and also accelerates your wealth. Because now, right, once you're out of all this debt, you still have to circulate the money. You still got to do some investing. Why not invest the correct way? Okay. That's what we're doing. Questions. Go ahead. We can, yeah, absolutely. Go ahead. Let's do some questions. Because right here, you no longer have, and this is the part I like, you no longer have questions when you have a system. What am I going to do with my checking account? What am I going to do with this signature loan? How do I pay this off? No more writing down on your pencil and your paper. Man, let's go ahead and see. Let's do the calculations. No. Can you do better than 11.4 years, over $232,000 gone? This includes the mortgage. I remember there's a popular finance guru. Awesome. Okay. He says, oh, don't worry about the mortgage. Listen, we're not worried about the mortgage either, especially after 11.4 years. We want it all gone. We want it all gone. Okay. This is what happens when lenders are tired, when two lenders got tired of seeing people get back into debt and also foreclose on their homes on the same mortgage that they sold them. You tend not to sleep at night when that happens. So they got together with a bunch of CPAs and this one and that financial professional. And they said, listen, guys, we have to stop this as quick as possible because we see what's coming. And over $2.5 billion in debt eliminated later. Still going strong. You need the system. The system. Look at all this. It's gone. All of it will be gone. Okay, in 11.4 years. Now, CJ, can it be faster than that? Sure it can. Sure it can. You want to give yourself a raise? Let's give yourself a raise. You say, I want to give myself $1,000 raise. You want to give yourself $1,000 raise? Watch this. When you stop spending $1,000, look at what happens. You get out of that debt much sooner. Okay. Now it's in 7.2 years. You know how it goes. Now it's in 7.2 years. There you go. That's right. Jesus, that's 100% correct. 100% correct. Control assets and leverage them into wealth. Leverage them into wealth. Okay. So now we're at 7.2 years. What are we going to do then with all of this money? Can we replace that signature loan toward an asset that pays us? Watch this. So that, yes, we're still paying that loan, but from that loan, we have an asset that's paying us, whether it's a paper asset, it's stocks, whether it's real estate assets, you know what I mean? Whether it's cryptocurrency, you know, whatever it is, okay? Listen, folks, there are no bad investments. There are no bad investments. Just horrible investment advice. That's all. Because the fact of the matter is, people are making money in all kinds of investments, including crypto, you know, corn, oil, you know, they're making money in it. It's all about the information. What's the knowledge that we can gain in these investments? How much knowledge do we know about it? How can we make money off of it? Okay. It's more than just throwing your money and hoping for the best. Hope is not a strategy, is it? But this is a strategy. Not only is it a strategy, it's also a tactic, okay, of eliminating all of that debt. And you can play around with this as much as you want, okay? It's up to you. Oh man, that's a great question. My goodness. Well, folks, let's go ahead and just tackle this. Let's tackle this question here. That's a very good question by Miss Maria Mendoza. Thank you so much. What if someone is in the negative monthly, okay? Expenses are actually higher than their income. Let's see what happens when that's the case, okay? Let's do that. Let's do that. What happens when the expenses are actually higher? All right. Let's do this then. Since you said that, Maria, let's just subtract. Okay. Let's subtract. And this one's monthly. Okay. Let's say she's no longer making that monthly. Let's say she's making 15-20 monthly. Okay. Let's go ahead and save it. Okay. Let's save it. Okay. So there's still 4,444 back to 11.4. Well, let's do this then. Let's go even lower. Okay, let's go even lower because we need to get her in the negative. So what if we did this? Okay. All right. So we do have a situation here. Very good question. We have a situation in which there is a discrepancy where this individual is having more expenses than the income. Do you see the parentheses around $38.83? That means they are hemorrhaging cash. Okay. They are hemorrhaging cash flow. They are not in the positive with the cash flow, but even with a negative cash flow, and this is why this is why I told you, hey, I named those thumbnails that for a reason. Okay. Even with negative cash flow, you can get rid of your loans. You can get rid of all of it. Why? Because it's all about the flow of money. Okay, that was a real title. Okay, you really can. Negative $38.83. You will be out in 16.4 years, so it is a little more. And your debt-free date will be 2040, September 2nd, 2040. Okay. And again, this is you are making less than you're making less than you're spending. You're making less than you're spending. Okay. But you're still coming out on top because you are saving $103,647. This is with the same liabilities. Okay. $232,900. So even if you're bleeding, even if you're bleeding, you're still on top. And oh, by the way, you're no longer in the 30-year mortgage. You're no longer in the 40-year mortgage after 16.4 years. We got rid of all of it with negative cash flow. Okay. That's what this number is. That's what those parentheses mean. Negative cash flow. All right. So it doesn't matter. You say, oh, CJ, come on, man. Can't you go further than that? I'm talking about over $100 in negative cash flow. Well, I mean, do you guys want to see that? Do you guys want to see the negative, like over $100 in cash flow, negative $100? Is that more realistic in some people's cases? Yeah. I tell you what. I tell you what. Let's do this. Okay, let's go to the action plan first. What are we doing? How are we living off of the negative $38.83? Like this. Look at it. MasterCard, we do have to have an emergency transfer to our checking to avoid that overdraft fee. Okay. Then we have to have an emergency, right? From the MasterCard to the checking, $38.83. Notice from the MasterCard to the checking, $38.83. Very important. Okay. See, notice that. All right. Now, if you're not feeling comfortable with using your MasterCard because of the fees involved, right? We do want you to know that you don't have to. We can set the setting, okay, and say, you know what? Let's go ahead and not use the MasterCard or not use the Visa card. You can do that as well. But I just wanted to show you, right? When it's a negative cash flow situation, we do want to make sure that we still are solvent, that we are still viable in our bank account, and that we are paying at least, right, for now, that we are paying our obligations, especially for these 3 months, and we're using the money that's coming in at the most optimal level. Okay. That's with negative $38.83. Does that make sense? Now, let's go ahead and do another scenario. Let's do another. I know it is. Isn't that wild? That's wild, isn't it? That's wild. Let's do another scenario in which we have an even greater, like a greater negative cash flow scenario. Now, you know, things happen, don't they? Things happen, and we can fight our way out through a system. So let's do 1100. Okay, 1100. Let's do that. Is that enough? Let's do it like this. Let's see. Because I'm actually trying to get a pop-up on the screen because it'll show you, hey man, you only got so much until you can't do this anymore. So I'm trying to get to that number. Let me do that for you. Man, I'm still not getting to that number, man. $238.83 though. That is worthy of noting. We're $238.83 in the hole. So let's beef it up to 1,300 each month. Okay, there we go. That's the pop-up that I wanted. So at $1,300 and we're negative $338.83 in the hole, it will actually show you, right, how long you have until everything is nil. All right. You ever see those cartoons with the X's in the people's eyes? You know, it's showing you, as you can see here, it says we have detected an upcoming cash flow shortage of what on 2/28/2029. So you still got like 5 years to blow however much money you need to blow, right? But you have until February 28th, 2029. It's going to be short $624.93. So let's say you're in this situation where you're making a monthly income of $3,944, but you got those monthly expenses of $4,282. Okay. Your average discretionary, your income is negative $338.83. But even in the negative, you're still going to be able to pay it off in less than 30 years, like all of it. Your mortgage included, your Visa, right? The MasterCard, the auto loan, the signature loan, all of it's going to be paid off. Over $232,000 paid off, right? In 28.4 years, making $39.44. With negative cash flow, $338.83. Enrolling in the Velocity Banking 2.0 class that we have on the screen right there will give you a debt elimination plan and 3 months of this action plan right here. We'll go through with your numbers. You say, well, CJ, I have negative cash flow. I just showed you it doesn't matter. Now I'm licensed. And we got to be careful what we say, right? But I just showed you it doesn't matter. Look, this is recorded. See what I'm saying? YouTube has this on live. I didn't record it. YouTube, you know what I mean? I just showed you that it doesn't matter. Now, you got until February 28, 2029. After that, it'll matter. Huh? But you got 5 years to get another gig, to get some money in the bank. All right. Let's do this. Let's say you got 10,000. Okay. What are we doing? What are we doing now? Well, did you see how that went away? That little sign went away. And it's going to be the system is going to be using that $10,000, okay, to your good. We're going to be paying off all sorts of stuff. Why? Because now we want to put that money into greater use because we want to free up that loan so that we could have a cash flow, right? More cash flow than we had before. Because once you're freeing up those loans, right? Once you're freeing up, let's say the auto loan, where's that $466 payment going to go? Us. Once you're freeing up the MasterCard, right? Where's that $142 payment gonna go? Us. All right, signature loan. Where's that gonna go? Us. Do you see what I'm saying? That's how they're able in 21 years, it's still less than 30. And here you have people that are very affluent, still on a mortgage at 25 years. You're out in 21 with negative cash flow. Lenders, I really want you to see something. Jack, Jacob, I really want you to see the power that people have when this type of education is in their hands, when this system is in their hands, when the banking algorithm is actually working for them instead of against them. See, you see how the action plan changed? There's actually so many scenarios that we can go over. I'm actually excited in showing you some more scenarios that it is. You know what I mean? It's the excitement is amazing. And so, hey, let me see. Let's attack some more questions here. Do you think we should pay off a mortgage or attack the mortgage for 3 years doing velocity banking and get a rental property? I think controlling a rental every 3 years makes more sense. Just a thought. Man, I agree. I agree. Now you and I both know, Jesus, that man, we'd rather be in debt because that debt is paying us. That sounds like a bar in a rap song. Okay. We'd rather be in debt because the debt is paying us. We'd rather be in debt because the debt is paying us. Okay. Yeah, yeah, that's a bar. Anyway, let's do that. But it all depends on the comfort level, right? The comfort level. Try 500 negative. I think I will actually. Let's try 500 negative. Okay. Let's try 500 negative and see where we're at. Okay. Now we have the $10,000 balance. Let's go ahead and continue on with that $10,000 balance. But right, let's see, because guess what? Sometimes grandma is generous. Sometimes, our cousins are generous. Sometimes, we get a package from somewhere, $10,000. Let's try $500 negative. Okay, we're gonna try $500 negative. So that's 1,500. Okay, $538. There we are. Boom. $538.83. Okay. We are going to exceed our cash flow by February 28th, 2030. But we have what? 6 years? Just over 5 years to get that act together, man, to put that cash flow back. And so there's still nothing to be concerned about. Okay. We still have the transfers taking place, right? We still are conducting business as usual. Nobody's getting upset. The bill collectors are still getting paid. Okay. It's very powerful. Very powerful. Oh man. Yeah. We're gonna definitely, yeah, we're gonna definitely do that, Jesus, man. Yeah, the debt is paying us, you know, because we know the debt is paying us. We're not afraid of debt because the debt is paying us. Eliminating debt, right? The bad debt, the debt that doesn't pay you. So we just want you to know, right, that this is where we're at with it. We'll convince you by the numbers, okay? Not necessarily a story. And if you have any questions, folks, that's what we're here for. There's a person right now. I'm going to go ahead and get to his analysis. Man, he's going to be so excited. I was just talking to him when I was in Scottsdale. He's going to be so excited about what we can do for him and his family. And that is where it's at. Listen, don't be afraid of the words generational wealth, okay? Before I leave, don't be afraid of the words generational wealth, because it is a generation that will receive the wealth. Not only wealth, I'm talking about the money, but the wealth up here. Because the kids and the grandkids are going to want to know, grandma, grandpa, how do we how do we allocate our money? Son, daughter, grandson, granddaughter, let me show you how to allocate the money. All right. And the reason why it's like that is because, and you can break it down to them, the principal and the interest. This is the relationship between principal and interest, between master and slave, between host and parasite. It goes through, it's science. That's why we're able to make the relation, right, between host and parasite and principal and interest, because there's a symbiotic relationship there, right? The interest feeds off that principal, just like the parasite feeds off the host. And they're going to think you're so brilliant because you are, right? Wow, how did you make that relation, grandma, grandpa? How did you, dad, mom, a friend, cousin, whoever it is, right? That's looking to you for help. And you can tell them, listen, that's just the way it is. There is a parasite host relationship. In the money world, it's principal and interest. And oh, by the way, after you're out of debt, let's go ahead and get in debt so that that debt can pay you. Does that make sense? You don't have to do like the rest of the people do, right? Yes, you can get the shoes, but I want you to pay for it with the house. Huh? Exactly. Exactly. Folks, thank you so much for tuning in. We have a whole lot more to say, but we can't because we've already been on here for an hour. And I want to give you back your time, and I don't want you to not come here anymore because I'm all long-winded. Okay, we've got so many scenarios. I know in your place, man, it may be a shock to you as to how you're going to get out of debt. Let me show you out. Okay, let me show you how to debt, and I think you'll be surprised at how fast it can be. God bless you. Thank you so much. Let's go ahead and do this again. We will be doing it again tomorrow about the same time, 12 p.m. Arizona time. We don't play with that daylight savings time. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. Guys, if you have any questions, you better come prepared tomorrow at 12 p.m. Take care.